Hi, boys and girls. Mr. Morris here, and I want to talk to you guys about one of the most important things that we do in seventh grade social studies and writing. It's called making a Sitomer. So you're watching this video right here, how to Sitomer, and I'm going to show you guys how to Sitomer right now. So we're going to go down here and take a look at what we've done so far in this unit on tradition. We've done our bell ringer. See, we've done the buell. We've annotated an article, give us some information about tradition, did our PowerPoint, took our Cornell notes, looked over our finished notes. Okay, now we're here. So now we're going to make a Sitomer. So I'm going to click and open this up. And when I click and open this up, I'm going to get to this link, and I'm going to make a copy, and then I am going to write a short writing response. Now this is what it looks like. You got blue, red, purple, and green. What does all this mean? Well, you are going to plug the information in that we've been doing for the last week and a half on traditions. You're going to be using your article notes that we annotated. You're going to be using your PowerPoint notes that we annotated, and you're going to plug your information into here to make a comprehensive paragraph of research answering a question. What question, you might ask? Well, it says right here. Why is it important to have traditions in a culture? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my notes from tradition. You guys read this PowerPoint, and your notes look like this. Okay, so we've talked about these notes. We've gone over it. We have our definition up here, definition of a tradition. We have slide 4, talks about why be part of a tradition, and we have our summary here. The next one we have slide 7, we took notes on social thought. What does tradition give someone? We took our who, what, where, when, why, and how, when. We wrote our summary, and we also did it for slide 10. What do traditions tell us about ourselves? Okay, so we have those notes, and we have our finished tradition notes from our annotated article that we did. We're going to take this stuff, and we are going to plug it in. So let me show what I mean by that. Let me go back up here to the top. What is a Sitomer? A Sitomer is a short research writing response. Here's what I already showed you. So we took a look at this a second ago, and we're going to plug our PowerPoint notes and our article notes into this. Here's what I mean. I'm going to go over here and show you one that I wrote. Traditions are important to have in a culture because they help us belong and they help define a group. Now, where did I get they help us belong and they help define a group? Because this is where I'm putting it right here. Traditions are important to have in a culture because they help us to belong and they help us define a group. The red part and the purple part, did I just make that up? No, I didn't. I actually got it from my Cornell notes. I'm using slide 4 to help answer this Sitomer, and I'm using slide 10, which is this one right here. I'm using all these notes in here. This will be my purple notes because it helps me answer the question, and these are going to be my red notes. And remember, my question that has to be answered is, why are traditions important to a culture? Well, as I said, slide 4 says they help us belong, and slide 10 says they help define a group. Now, I'll tell you more in a second on why they're different colors. Let's get to this red part, because the red part, as you can see right here, is the evidence supporting this piece right here. More on what that means. One reason traditions are important is because they help us belong in a larger group. This aspect is important because if you belong to something larger than yourself, you don't feel left out. This aspect affects culture by helping people feel connected and not alone. Well, once again, as I said, that comes from my notes right here from slide 4, from my PowerPoint notes. If I wanted to use my notes from my article, I could too. But I chose this time, and you can use these, but I chose this time because I only needed two pieces of evidence here. So I chose to use these notes. So as you can tell in this section here, traditions grow stronger when they're passed down from one generation to another. Here's my summary. We should be part of a tradition because it gives us a sense of belonging to a group, and it feels like we're part of a continuing thing being passed down. Tradition gives us an identity, a belonging, as it says right here. So that's what I more or less talked about right here. And I connected it by adding it here. One reason traditions are important, this aspect is important, this aspect affects culture by, look guys, it's the sentence starters right here. One reason traditions are important, this aspect is important because, and then this aspect affects culture by, and I added the information from slide 4. I did the same thing with slide 10 right here. Up above it says, they help define a group. Now I'm going to explain with my evidence from slide 10. Another way traditions are important to culture is it helps define the people in an ethnic group. This aspect is important because defining an ethnic group helps the group continue. This is important to culture because it makes the cultural group feel unique. I'm going to go back here to my notes in slide 10. I'm going to take a look around. Yep. Traditions define ethnic groups of people. They help people feel proud and unique. These are the notes I got from my slide. And I'm going to plug them in right here. Another way traditions are important. The reason this is important to culture because, and I'm going to plug my notes from slide 10 there, and that's how I got this purple section. The last section is the conclusion. Therefore, traditions are important to culture because, they help us belong and fit into a larger group, and ethnic groups feel proud of their uniqueness. All right, let's break it down even more. The blue is the thesis, your claim. The claim is this: traditions are important to have in a culture. That's the claim. Now I have to give two reasons and support those two reasons why that's true. So let's go back to our claim. Traditions are important to have in a culture. I gave you that. Because red, my first little red piece, subclaim 1, they help us belong. There's a reason. And subclaim 2, my second reason, they help define a group. I'm not done yet. Now I need to give evidence to help support this subclaim, this reason. Subclaim 1 evidence. This is why it's red, because it connects to this reason right here. They help us belong is what I set up above in this sentence. Now I need to show you with evidence from, of course, the slide 4 from my PowerPoint. When I summarized my notes, it said this. One reason traditions are important. I don't have to read the whole thing. You've heard me read it before. You know what this is. And then why is this purple down here? Because this is the evidence to support my second reason. They help define a group. This is from slide 10 from my PowerPoint notes. Remember my summary? This is what it is. In my conclusion, therefore, traditions are important. Yep, this combines and summarizes my paragraph. My point is done. Let me break it down even a little more. The claim is blue. It's what are you saying? What is the point of your writing? What are you going to prove to me? Subclaim 1 is red. My first point I'm going to prove, or my reason, answer the claim. The purple is my second reason, my second point I'm going to prove. See, traditions are important to have in a culture. Claim. Because they help us belong. Subclaim 1. They help define a group. Subclaim 2. The reason why this is highlighted is this is a transition word. It connects the things. Because and connect the two thoughts. Let's go to the next piece. It's easier to see when I do this. Subclaim evidence. I have to prove the reason I gave. Proof through researched evidence backs up subclaim 1. Again, I got this from the PowerPoint. Why is this in purple? Because this is proof, research proof to back up the reason I gave up above to answer my claim. One reason traditions are important, and this is what I have in my Sitomer. I've read this a couple times now. I don't need to read it again. And why is this underlined with a little star? because this is a transition word. It's used to connect multiple ideas. Another way traditions, that's saying, continuing this thought, there's another reason. And then, of course, finally, the conclusion is green. It wraps up what you're claiming with a final, I have two A's there, with a final thought, summarizes your paragraph. Therefore, transition word, continuing, connecting the idea. Traditions are important to culture because they help us to belong and fit into a larger group, and ethnic groups feel proud of their uniqueness. That is a summary of the paragraph that I'd written. It combines both my points and lets the reader know I'm done. So, with all that being said, let's go back to the original. We started with this, and we took our notes from the PowerPoint. And I could have used my notes from the article, but I chose to stay on my PowerPoint. I used slide 4 and I used slide 10 to plug in my information here, which gave me this. This is my complete answer, and this is a Sitomer. My claim, my subclaim 1, my subclaim 2, this here. This, of course, is the, oops, let me go back. This, of course, is my evidence supporting subclaim 1. This is my evidence supporting subclaim 2. And this is my conclusion. Blue, red, purple, green. All right, you guys, we'll be doing this a lot this year. And our writing is going to get a little bit more intricate. Pretty soon, we're going to start putting in citations where this information came from. But we'll do it gradually and generally, and we'll get going on it. But this is the nuts and bolts of what it is we're doing. If you guys have any questions, please reach out and ask. You guys will pretty soon be writing these by yourselves, but this is the structure, as I call it. These are the sentence starters. Pretty soon you won't need them. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.